Over the past 4 years of trying to build businesses online, looking for ways to make money and testing my hand with different skills, improving my skills, um, putting my hand into different businesses also, I thought that the motivation for why I wanted all of this success or why I wanted to make money online was because I wanted time, location, geographical freedom, wanting to give my parents the best life, wanting to retire them, wanting to help people, wanting to make impact. But over the last week, I realized that that wasn't the motivation at all, and I was driven by something else. I come to this realization, it was really deep, and I never really thought that that was the motivation. But after drawing out the whole landscape, after drawing out the whole thing, I found out that I was driven by fear, and I'm going to give the whole concept on why I say so. So back when I was in secondary school, I used to be, let's say, bullied a lot. I won't call it bully, but I compared myself a lot with people who had lots of money. Not because I was suffering in the sense, but I was had this mentality of if I had more money, I would have been able to do this, I would have been able to do that. And also I got insulted a lot of times where I was either using my money for something else, which was not what people would naturally spend money on. So for instance, first off, I went to a boarding school. So for instance, I might have, let's say, some amount of money with me, and then I'll put it into the forex market and I'll lose it all. The certain important things came up, I couldn't pay for it, and I was humiliated for it. People called me names for it. There were certain things I couldn't do, and that pain drove me to decide to build businesses. That pain drove me to decide that I would make this work. I would actually build a business, and I would prove everybody that doubted me wrong. The most driver for this, or what really drove me into this path, was while building my various businesses. I was a network marketer before. So while doing network marketing, I was mostly alone. I really didn't have that much supporters from friends that were really putting in the efforts to see me grow. Everyone thought I was weird for trying to do that kind of thing. My friends would mock and laugh at me all day long. Why do I keep posting about this thing? Why do I keep showing up? Why do I keep pushing these particular ways to make money online? And the whole goal, it was as though all of these experiences was feeding into my subconscious, and then the driver all along was I want to prove them wrong and show them I'm not stupid for going on this path. And then while I was building up until this time, I figured that the driver has been how can I make money to retire my parents or to get freedom. That was what I thought was the driver, but behind the scenes, it wasn't that. It was that I wanted to prove everyone wrong. I wanted to make the money, and I wanted to show everyone, my friends, everyone who doubted me, that you look now, I'm not stupid. And I deprived myself of certain things. So when I made my first four figures online, I took the money and I wasn't thinking of anything pleasure. I wasn't thinking of how I would make myself happier. The only thing that was in my head was how do I make myself better? How do I improve? How do I invest back in my business? How do I pay for tools? How do I pay for softwares? How do I make myself make more money? So any money that comes to my hand, I don't want to gain pleasure from it. If I set aside a certain amount of money to probably enjoy myself, I would spend it little by little. And most of the money I will still spend from that might still be for the business. So I might buy a drink because I want to work extra hours in school. I don't want to, and I'll be hungry. So I'll buy the drink because of business. I would hardly spend money on myself. And it was as though I was depriving myself of the pleasure because I felt that if I made the money, I would be happy. If I made the extra 10K per month or 20K or even 30K per month, at that point I can now enjoy. At that point I can now be free. What this brought about was stress. Sometimes I would be on my bed and I would be debating, should I get to work? Should I read a book? Should I read my Bible? Should I pray? What should I do? Or most times I'm working, I have so many things to get done. But then I start debating what will bring me the highest outcome to make sure that I get fastest to my goal. So if I set 10K per month, 10,000 pounds a month as a milestone, instead of looking for what is the next best thing I do, I start thinking, what's the fastest thing I can do right now to get to my goal? Or if I'm doing a task, I start thinking, how can I make this task shorter so that it guarantees that I get to my goal faster? And it was making me panic. So I couldn't learn things properly. I wasn't really paying attention. I would watch a YouTube video and I won't finish it. I was just looking for an answer to solve the fact that I wanted to make money. But then I came to a realization from a book called The Courage to Be Disliked. So you can check the book. I'll drop the link in the description. Disclaimer, I'm not marketing this book. I'm just showing you it's a really amazing book. So like the book outlines is the courage to be disliked, the ability to show up, do what you want, do what you love, set goals, and actually focus on achieving those goals without the opinions of others. It's understanding what is your responsibility and what's other people's responsibility. And I came to ask myself, am I really driven by freedom? Or I'm driven by fear? Or I'm driven by the ability to want to prove myself? Then, over the past week, like I said, I then told myself, I have to feel and I have to gain pleasure in myself and not tie it to a financial goal. Because each time we make money, we want more. So if I make the extra 10K, I'll tell myself I'm not worthy enough. Then I go up, I push the pedestal to 20K. And it's what a lot of these successful people experience. They feel if I make $1 million a month, if I make 100 million, I will then be happy. But happiness comes from within, happiness comes from inside. It's good sometimes to want to make money out of you want to really help, but if your happiness or if your joy is tied to that pedestal of that financial goal, you realize that the goalpost will just keep moving. You will make the 10K, you still not feel happy, you feel it's not enough, you go for 100K, you still not feel happy. And then I realized, you know what, every time money comes to my hands, I'm going to spend a little of it on pleasure. I'm going to make myself feel that I am worth it. I deserve, or I'm going to make myself feel I am worthy, even if the money is not there. I deserve the money. I am comfortable with myself. I am content with where I am. I'm content with my being. I'm content with Pascal, not the Pascal with 10K, not the Pascal with 20K, the Pascal of the now. And if I make that money, fine. If I get to my financial goal, fine. But it will not be that I tied my joy or happiness to that goal. It will be that I was already content in myself. So whether or not it's dead, I derive happiness from inside. And the Bible says that the joy of the Lord is our strength. So I put my faith in Jesus Christ. And as long as Jesus is there, as long as my faith is in him, I derive joy from only him. The goal is not to prove to anyone wrong. The goal is not to make anyone feel that they were right or wrong. I decide my own life. The people who we think care a lot about what we think or what we say, they don't really care that much. Like they may talk, they may say whatever they want, but they are all trying to press their insecurities on you, or they're just trying to, they are feeling bad that they are not doing what you're doing. So I've decided to separate myself from all of those and do what I actually want. And yes, the goal is still the same, to gain financial freedom, time freedom, geographical freedom, tell my parents and all. But then I'm not doing it from a place of pain. I'm doing it from a place of faith, from a place of love, from a place of joy, from a place of wanting to actually help and add value. And I guess that is the whole goal. Because at the end of the day, we really don't derive happiness from money. Money brings peace of mind. Money doesn't really bring happiness or joy. We derive those happiness from within, memories, and our loved ones, people who actually care about. So I hope this video helps someone. I hope you got a lot of value from it. Stop chasing your goals based on what people think about you, and chase your goals based on who you want to help, because of the passion you have to pursue those goals, and feel content with yourself right now, even if it's not there. Mind you, believe that you deserve it. That is very important. And that's what I've told myself, that I deserve this goal, but I'm not going to tie my happiness to it. I hope that helped you. You can subscribe to the channel if you want to. I sincerely love that. And this channel is just documenting my journey on how I'm building a 6-figure business, or even 7 figures, and a business that also honors God. So follow along the journey. Love you guys so much, and have a really blessed day.